Have you ever felt like you're interested in everything, but fully committed to nothing? One week, you want to start a business. The next week, you're learning psychology. Then suddenly, you're obsessed with filmmaking, fitness, philosophy, coding, or music. And deep down, there's this quiet fear: what if something is wrong with me? Because everyone around you seems so focused. One career, one passion, one clear path. But your mind feels like a browser with 27 tabs open. If that's you, this video might completely change how you see yourself, because psychology shows that people with too many interests are not broken, not lazy, and not confused. In fact, their brains are wired differently. Today, we are breaking down the psychology of people who have too many interests, why society misunderstands them, the hidden strengths no one talks about, and how to stop feeling guilty about your curiosity. Stay until the end, because the final section explains how to turn this so-called problem into a real advantage. Before we continue, if you enjoy deep psychology videos like this, make sure to subscribe. This channel is for people who think deeply and refuse shallow answers. Part 1. The label society gives you. If you have too many interests, you've probably been labeled as unfocused, indecisive, inconsistent, a jack of all trades, master of none. And over time, you start believing those labels. But here's the truth: those are social judgments, not psychological facts. Modern society rewards specialization: one role, one identity, one ladder. But psychology tells us something very different. Not all brains are built for narrow focus. Some brains are designed for exploration, connection, and synthesis. When those minds are forced into one box, they don't become successful. They become anxious, guilty, and chronically self-doubting. Part 2. The polymath brain. Psychology actually has a name for people with many interests. They're often called multipotentialites or polymaths. Historically, some of the most impactful humans were exactly like this: Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, Carl Jung. These people didn't succeed despite having many interests. They succeeded because of them. Research shows that polymath-type minds often have high openness to experience, strong associative thinking, curiosity-driven dopamine systems. In simple terms, your brain doesn't get energized by repetition, it gets energized by learning. Quick question: how many interests do you currently have? Drop the number in the comments. Part 3. Why your interests change so fast. One of the most frustrating questions people like you ask is this: why do I lose interest once I understand something? Psychology explains this through something called dopamine prediction error. When something is new, your brain releases dopamine, motivation increases, curiosity spikes. But once mastery begins, dopamine drops, not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because your brain is wired for novelty and complexity, not maintenance. That's why you love the learning phase, you hate repetition, and you feel bored once things become predictable. This doesn't make you unreliable, it makes you a high-level pattern learner. Part 4. ADHD versus multi-interested minds. Many people with multiple interests ask themselves, do I have ADHD? Sometimes, yes, but often, no. Here's the difference: ADHD is about difficulty regulating attention. Multi-interest minds experience something else: selective hyperfocus, deep attention when emotionally engaged, rapid boredom when mentally unstimulated. You can focus, you just refuse to focus on things that feel meaningless. That's not a disorder, that's a values-based attention system. Part 5. The hidden emotional struggle. There's an emotional side to this that no one talks about. People with many interests often feel chronic guilt, fear of wasted potential, anxiety about choosing wrong, shame for quitting things. Psychology calls this identity diffusion. You don't lack identity. You have too many possible identities, and when society demands one fixed version of you, you start doubting all of them. That's why many polymath-type people struggle silently, not because they're lost, but because they're too expansive for narrow systems. Part 6. Why society needs people like you. Here's what most people don't realize: the future doesn't belong only to specialists, it belongs to connectors, people who combine psychology with business, creativity with technology, logic with imagination. AI can specialize, humans add value by integrating. Your many interests allow you to see patterns others miss, translate ideas across fields, and innovate instead of imitate. That's not confusion, that's cognitive flexibility, one of the strongest predictors of long-term success. Part 7. How to stop feeling broken. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Stop asking, which interest should I choose forever? Start asking, how do these interests connect? Instead of committing to one thing, commit to a theme: understanding human behavior, creating meaningful content, solving complex problems. Let your interests rotate, but let your direction stay consistent. Psychologically, This removes guilt. And restores internal alignment. Conclusion. The final message. If you have too many interests, don't shrink yourself to fit the world. Build a life that fits your brain. You're not scattered, you're multidimensional. And once you stop fighting that truth, everything starts to make sense. If this video helped you understand yourself better, subscribe for more psychology-based content. Share this with someone who feels the same way. And comment below, what's the one interest you keep coming back to? I'll see you in the next video.